steps up. He's going to run it. Trevor to the 5-yard line. Trevor stays on his feet. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, a 10-yard touchdown run. And Jacksonville is in the end zone again. Dropping his Mahomes. Fires middle of the field. Ball's intercepted. The ball is picked off. Are you kidding me? Devin Lloyd bringing it back again. Along the left sideline. 50, 45, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! 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 Devin Lloyd with the length of the field. Yet another interception. Jacksonville is taking the lead. How good is that?
T-Lo got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go left field.
Trevor under center. He slipped and he fell down. Trevor fell down on the play. Now he's going to try and run it in. He's in the end zone. Touchdown. Trevor ran it in. He ran it in. Touchdown. He got up. He fell down. There's a flag in the end zone. It's against Kansas City. Trevor Lawrence ran it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Guys, talk about resilience. Down 14-0. Come back. One play at a time. How about Devin Lloyd? Guys, but think about it. All three phases made a huge impact in that ball game. All three phases. Guys, not much we do is truly the most pretty thing in the world. But guess what, man? Guess what? Guess what? Winning feels good. Winning feels real good.
Now, Jaguars Today on 1010XL with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and RJ Saunders.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Jaguars Today kicking off this Wednesday morning, and you heard the lineup right there. Good morning to all. Lot to dig into today, including the Jaguars making the announcement just within the last hour that they'll be playing 2 of their home games in London this season upcoming. It shouldn't be a shock, Tony, when they have the ability to play 6 in a 3-year window over there because of the stadium construction going on. Nevertheless, if you are a diehard who goes to all the games, you're not going to be happy that you have one less Sunday to enjoy Jaguar football in all its glory as the home team. But, you know, from the Jaguars' point of view, I get it. If you're going to do it in a year where your capacity is going to be reduced by about 20,000 people, and you're going to make an additional economic benefit. The shame of it is, why couldn't this have happened in all the years when they stunk, right? Now you're coming off a 13-win season. You're like, man, how is this going to impact the quality of play on the field, their ability to win games, having to play over there, giving up another one of their home dates? You lose that home crowd. And I know it's been becoming more of a pro-Jaguar crowd. I still feel like it's an NFL exhibition crowd in London more than it is anything else. And we'll see. You know, you got to win them on the road, too, in the National Football League, but this is not going to make it any easier for the Jags.
No, you know, it's one of those situations where I can understand the why, you know, of them playing 2 home games over there in London this year. That doesn't mean, again, the fans that you spoke to a moment ago that have been sticking to it, you know, through the ups and downs of being a Jaguars fan, that right now they feel like they're on and up, right? Like they would, like, and honestly, that's the group of fans that even if they were very much at the bottom of a down, would be upset if you took away 2 home games, right? So for that group of fans, there's no explanation that'll satisfy them in this regard, and that's fine. I can understand it. But again, I can understand the why of why there would be 2 home games in London this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars when they're playing in a stadium at the capacity that the one here in town is going to be at. I get it. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle any of this next year with them playing games wherever, Orlando, wherever it's going to be, you know, how they'll handle these kind of situations. But it did, the way that it read with what the Jaguars sent out, it sounded like they get one of the London games that they would be playing over there in like 2030.
Well, an NFL-required London game. Now, the games that they choose to play in Wembley are not NFL-required. Now, we've wondered,
So
with
they're
the Jaguars
banking a
doing that,
game.
they are taking a game that they otherwise would have been required to play there, in addition to the one Wembley game in 2030, and they're saying instead of doing that, then why don't we do it now when the stadium's going to be at a reduced capacity, right? And the NFL agreed to let them do that. Now, I get it. You're going to say, well, we're good now. I want to see them win now. It doesn't help me now.
Yeah.
The future's not promised to anybody, and which is true. But let's say they're good in 2030. And you got this gleaming stadium that's been open for a couple of seasons now, and it is the hottest ticket in town, and the Jags are rolling, and you're like, wait a minute. We got to give up an additional home game in 2030. Why don't we do this when the stadium was under construction? Right? And well, that's what you're doing now, right? So in the short term, it's going to annoy you more. In the long term, when you get to 2030, I mean, I get it. That's delayed gratification.
It was always going to annoy you. Like, if you were going to be annoyed by it, it's always going to annoy you whenever these kind of things come up. And there's nothing that's going to be said except they're no longer going to do it that would satisfy that group of the fan base.
Sure.
And, that's just not the situation that the Jaguars feel like they're in. I'll be happy the day that it goes away, too. I'm not saying that I celebrate the games in London. I don't. But I can understand why they would be giving 2 home games to London this year specifically. It makes some sense to me, even if it's still not something that I'm necessarily happy about.
Again, the window is from 25 through 27. They have the ability to play 6 games there. That's part of the stadium lease deal and the construction deal and all that. Well, they played 1 last year. They're playing 2 this year. I can do math. That adds up to 3. If you can play 6, do you think they're not playing those other 3 there next year, Tone?
Certainly.
But
seems reasonable.
Here's the thing. Like, are you going to go to every game in Orlando? Some fans will, and some fans will be upset with the opportunity or the fewer opportunities to do that. Other fans are going to be like, hey, if you're ever going to do it, now's the time to do it. When it's not right here in our backyard that you're taking games away from. I don't care if you're taking them away from the Orlando crowd. I'm going to go to a few Orlando games. I could still go to a bunch of Orlando games. If I wasn't going to go to all of them, it's probably not going to impact you as much. But I get it. We love – look, I like the casuals. I like the hardcores. I like everything in between. There's no – one way to define what being a Jaguar fan is. But for the hardcore people that do go to every single game or attempt to go to every single game every year, obviously this is going to be a disappointment and a source of consternation, anger, whatever you want to say about it. We'll talk more about this as we go along today. We'll hear what Mark Lamping, president of the Jaguars, has to say about it. He's speaking right now, as a matter of fact, down at, I would imagine, the Miller Electric Center, speaking on a variety of issues, including this will be one of the hot topics, if not the hot topic of the day. Today, Hayes Carline of 1010XL is at that presser. He'll join us next hour to discuss what he heard from Mark Lamping and where that leaves the Jaguars. Coming up next, though, we've got Josh Edwards from CBS Sports talking NFL Combine and everything that's going on there. A little draft talk as well as our question of the day. I'll throw it out there for you. It's out there in poll form. Has nothing to do with anything we've mentioned so far today, as a lot of this stuff happened in the last hour, as we mentioned. But the UFL instituted a bunch of rules changes. We picked 4, threw them in a poll. Which one would you most like to see the NFL adopt? It's your options are ban the tush push, no punts once you cross the 50-yard line, which is very interesting to me. 60-yard field goals worth 4. If you're thinking short term, you're thinking Cam Little. And a 1 foot in signifies a legal catch. They're going the college route on getting 1 foot in, say it's easier to officiate and will lead to more offense and all that stuff. So you can vote at MD_1010XL. Hit us up as well at 1010XL Fat Tony and at R has no J. That's a fancy doorbell you got going on there, young man. Right there. I feel like that sounds like it's related to the wonderful world of Disney in some way.
It could be.
It could. Doesn't it sound that way?
Nah, yeah. I should ask the Sixers where they got that.
Is that
from.
what is that? Their
free throw chime.
Free throw chime. Got it. From the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm learning all the innocuous little noises associated with the NBA in the last month or so, Tony. All right, I think we're locked in, ready to go. Stream us on YouTube, on X, on Facebook today. Josh Edwards talking Combine and Draft coming up next. Hayes Carline next hour. We'll take your calls on the Jags expanding their home portfolio in London to 2 games this year. That's coming up later this hour at 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and RJ Saunders here with you on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. On campus.
7 years of college down the drain.
On the inside and on XL Primetime.
What's the deal with the show?
Bleacher Report college football insider Matt Hayes.
How do you like being in a real studio?
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
On Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Get in the paint with Patrick Young as he and Dan and Jeff break down Florida Gators basketball. It's the smartest Gator Insight every Friday morning at 8:30. Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on 1010XL.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world #1 Scottie Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Golf for a great cause. It's the UNF4 Scholarship Golf Classic, Friday, March 27th at Queens Harbor. Support the Swoop Impact Fund with a sponsorship or foursome. Contact jc.wegner@unf.edu.
For nearly 60 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard has been Jacksonville's trusted name for the outdoors. From archery to hunting and fishing and more, their expert staff helps you get it right the first time. Right now, stop in and try the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews and get dialed in before spring. Gear up today at greenacresporting.com.
Attention men and women, if you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith here with you as it's time to talk a little combine. Tony, getting underway in Indianapolis, at least for those who could make it. I saw a lot of media members saying, well, I intended to cover the combine this year, and after 6 flight cancellations, I am left with the option of staying home. We're happy that Josh Edwards of CBS Sports has made his way to Indianapolis. Josh, hopefully you had no travel snafus this week, my man. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Yeah, no travel issues for me. Got the snowshoes out, made it over here in a couple of days. So happy to be here and, listen to some of the guys speak this morning at the podium.
Anybody catch your attention? Like things just getting underway, and I know there's going to be something every single day. But what's the early buzz, or what are the topics that the national media like yourself is most interested in pursuing this week?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just kind of the mystery that teams have right now, because I think there's going to be a lot of trade action, I think, over the next couple of weeks and even beyond that as the new league year opens. With an influx in salary cap space, teams are looking for creative ways to use that. Some teams are going to retain their own players. They may look to go out and get players that would be more expensive elsewhere. So there's a variety of ways that teams can kind of use that extra cap space at their disposal. So kind of interesting to see what conversations come out of those. But specifically to the prospects, this morning the linebackers, the defensive line have spoken. Arvell Reese, who on media notifications goes by Vel here, has decided that he's going to participate in on-field drills. So I think that was a little bit unexpected, considering he's a presumptive top 10 overall pick. And then his teammate, Sonny Styles, also a linebacker at Ohio State. Just listening to him, you can hear the maturity, the professionalism that he brings to the position. So a couple of guys that have kind of stood out here early.
Whether it be a player or a league-wide type of story, what would you anticipate being the big story coming out of the combine this weekend?
Well, I think, I don't know if we're going to see trades this week. I do anticipate trades, so I don't know when those are going to happen, but I would anticipate the depth and the speed of this wide receiver class being a talking point at some point this week, because there are several players that can really run in this year's class. And I think it's going to be a very deep wide receiver class in which teams can find quality players in the day 2 and day 3 of this year's class. Not necessarily having the blue chip type guys at the top, the number 1 type wide receivers that we've seen in the past that usually go in the top 10 overall. But I think this year is an opportunity for teams to kind of restock the cupboard at the wide receiver position with a variety of skill sets.
I've heard that, Josh, from a lot of pundits, yourself included now, that maybe there isn't that depth chart topping guy, that true alpha, that top 10 in the league type presence. So, the receiver that you're going to get at 45, how much different is he going to be from the one that's available at, say, pick 20?
Well, I think you have a little fewer question marks with somebody that would be taken in that range. Like Carnell Tate, he may not ultimately be that much of a better pro than somebody that would go in that range, but you kind of have a better feel for what you're getting out of that player. So a lot of it's going to be fit determined, what teams they walk into, the coaching staff's vision for that particular player. So fit's going to be really important, I think, in this year's draft class. But not having a Malik Neighbors, Jamar Chase type at the top is, I think, going to impact this class. And we're going to see a run on the position in day 2 somewhere, probably several coming off the board.
In a roundtable I saw you did over there for CBS going into the combine this week, I saw that you mentioned specifically wide receiver Jeff Caldwell out of Cincinnati as being on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. Do you know how that list is determined, or what other players will you be watching on that list there in Indianapolis this week?
Yeah, so Bruce does a really great job of compiling that list, just speaking to personnel in college football to get kind of the weight room aspect of those particular players. vertical jump, 40-yard dash, like numbers that pop off to someone like Bruce, who's been in the industry for so long and done such a great job. He compiles all those notes, puts them in his freak list. It's a great resource every single year. But, just looking at this year's class, I think you're talking about Kendrick Law from Kentucky, Barryon Brown from LSU, Brennan Thompson from Mississippi State, Chris Hilton from LSU. A number of these guys can run really fast, and I think it's going to be a really competitive atmosphere later this week when the wide receivers take the field in Indy.
You wrote as well, Josh, recently a piece on what every team's biggest need is. And for Jacksonville, you just selected the defensive line. And, some people look and say, well, they're number one in run defense. But I think you're right. If you look a little bit deeper, we've talked a lot about defensive tackle being a need here, more pass rush as well. Just in general, how good a year is this if you're in need of defensive linemen? And I get it, not one size fits all, but is this draft going to be one where you can find instant contributors throughout the draft?
Yeah, I think the defensive tackle class, specifically at the top, it's just kind of what kind of a skill set you're looking for. Someone like Caden McDonald is more, of a run stopper, may have a limited pass rush ceiling at the position, but somebody that's going to upgrade the floor of the team's run defense immediately. And then you've got other guys like Peter Woods, who also brings a high floor to the position. I think you can get probably a good player into day two. It's not as deep of a defensive tackle class as maybe we saw last year, but there's good players at the position even beyond that. Daryl Jackson, I saw speak this morning. So there's a number of notable players in this year's class, but defensive tackle is one of the positions that Jacksonville consider. I know safety, the offensive line is something that they can address as well. So they were one of the teams that maybe didn't have such a clear need at the top, but there were certainly a few positions that were in the conversation.
When you continuing the conversation here about the defensive line, going to edge a little bit, who are some of your maybe favorite edge players that you expect to still be available as we get into the end of day two and into day three?
Yeah, someone like Joshua Josephs from Tennessee. He's somebody that's a little bit undersized, but he's incredibly switchy and explosive. If you're just looking for someone opposite of Josh Hines-Allen to potentially come in and make an impact immediately, I think he's somebody that you have a very defined role for him, and you can feel comfortable with what he would bring to the table. So he's somebody that would be in the mix. Somebody like a couple guys from Michigan. You got Jayshon Barham. You've got Derek Moore. A couple of guys like that. Cassius Howley's obviously not going to be available late day two when Jacksonville is picking, but a possibility to potentially move up if he were to slide a little bit farther than people anticipate. So I think if you're Jacksonville and you come into this draft class with kind of a vision for what you want opposite of Josh Hines-Allen, I think there's absolutely a skill set and a player that you could come away from in this draft.
Talking here with Josh Edwards of CBS Sports. Josh, before we let you go, the Jags notably are not sending their head coach or general manager to the Combine following the style of the LA Rams, which, they're an offshoot of that coaching and front office tree. Do you think this is going to become more prevalent, with the rise of all the GPS data that we have on all these players? Is testing becoming less important, or at least the testing that you can get that information, later in the day, and it's not really going to change the metrics? They don't want to be swayed by a 15-minute in-person interview to overrule their film study. What do you take of their or make of their approach?
Yeah, I think, everybody's going to have their own different approach to it. There's always going to be value in the NFL Combine because of the medical evaluations, as you know, to the in-person evaluations. But the miles per hour testing that you're talking about is something that has become incredibly valuable to NFL teams. In some ways, it kind of overrules the 40-yard dash because you're talking about verifiable play speed at that point. But there's always going to be a place for the NFL Combine, I think. And I think a lot of teams are still going to show up to this event, even though, there are some selected teams like, the Rams and the Jaguars who just don't necessarily want to tip their hand too much, or maybe don't see as much value in being here in person. But, there's still a lot of teams that are getting a lot of quality information from the course of this week in Indianapolis. And, the Jaguars, they obviously have their strategy. The Rams have their strategy, and it's worked well. for them. So there's no reason to change it at this point. But I don't expect it to become kind of this widespread thing for a lot of teams.
Is there a player or a group of players as you get ready for the combine up there in Indianapolis that in your mind have been the toughest to evaluate as you start into the draft process this year?
Yeah, it's funny. You sit down and you have some of those conversations with other people in the industry. I was talking to Mike Renner about this yesterday. Jacoby Lane from USC, the wide receiver, is somebody that I have kind of struggled on going back and forth. Like if you watch the beginning of the season, it's a totally different perspective than you walk away with at the end of the season. So there's always some of those players, and it goes the other way as well, where it may take me a little bit longer to come around on a player like it did for David Bailey or Cassius Howell or Mansour Delane, someone like that, who I think has steadily progressed throughout their collegiate careers. And that's where you've seen the kind of benefit of having those elongated collegiate careers where NIL has kept some of those players in the league. I think teams have a better feel for what you're bringing to the table now coming out of college because you've had 4 or 5 years to really express yourself on the field.
All right. Well, Josh, we will certainly follow the combine in part through your coverage. You do great work over at CBS Sports. You don't need me to tell you that, but I did anyway. And you can find Josh on the X platform at Edwards CBS and covering the NFL combine for the next week plus. Josh, thanks for taking a little time out before things get really crazy up there in Indianapolis. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you hopefully over the summer.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, buddy. There he goes, Josh Edwards with CBS Sports. So just a little primer on, some of the basics there. And I agree with him. I don't think it's going to be, I think, too often if you're a coach or a GM, you do things against convention. You go, like, you never get criticized. Well, maybe you do nowadays, but you punt on 4th and 3. And generally, you have cover for what your decision was, right? And it's thinking outside the box, pushing the envelope, doing something new that's going to get looked at differently. And unless that proves to be the right way, just because the Rams have had success doesn't mean it's proven. But if the Jags can continue to have success, build on what they did last year, and other teams start to go, do I really need to be here for all this stuff? I don't think it'll become across the board, but I wonder if at some point the NFL encourages coaches to send their front office, because this is like a big week and a half for them in terms of coverage, in terms of television, and all these different things.
No doubt. And look, he did mention there off the top that the trades that could be getting done, right? And there's so much of that business that gets done while they're at the combine. Like, these guys just being in the same room, having the opportunity to sit down and talk about some of these situations with the guys that could be available across the league. Like, the business of the NFL, there's a lot of it that gets done at the NFL Combine. And there may be some point in the future where the Jags actually send guys back to the Combine, coaches, that kind of thing. I don't know, what the future of any of that's going to look like. I don't think it's going to be a widespread thing necessarily in the league. And I do think the next-gen stat stuff, you still have enough guys that are coming into the league that information may not necessarily be available, whether it be smaller school, whatever, for whatever reason, or the injury thing, like all of that kind of stuff. To want to sit down and talk to them, I think makes sense. I think the way the Jags are approaching it, it's not that it's nonsense to me. It's just, I think it makes more sense to be there. If you're asking me my preference, I'd prefer they were there, right? Like being a part of the process of the combine, but it doesn't bother me all that much that they're not there, but they are potentially missing something by not making a point to be up there and talk to the guys.
They get the benefit of the doubt when you go from 4 to 13 wins. We're not going to go crazy over any decision, any one individual decision they make, but we'll see if they continue to go along this route in future years, and if they have success in the draft regardless of it. Let's hope that they do. All right, if you want to get in, coming up next, your thoughts on the Jags sending an additional 2027 home game to London, and in part by doing this, they're going to have an additional home game here in 2030 that they would not have had otherwise, but that does not help you in the short term, particularly with your team coming off a 13-win season. So if you want to weigh in on that, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines, the easiest way to do it. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and RJ Saunders here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here with Daniel Harris, Duval Ford's mobile service and Pro Ford Elite Manager. Duval Ford's outside the 1010XL studios right now, giving 8 winners free oil changes with their mobile service. Daniel, what is Duval Ford Mobile Service?
Mike, it's where we come to you. Whether you're at home, work, or managing a fleet, we handle maintenance and many repairs right on site.
Why should someone choose Duval Ford?
We've been part of the Jacksonville community since 1916. We're the first dealership in North Florida to offer mobile service. We now have over 30 vans on the road. We're also the only Ford Pro Elite dealership between Orlando and Atlanta.
Tell us more about Ford Pro Elite.
It's a top-level service center focused on commercial and fleet customers, dedicated technicians, extended hours, large service bays, and mobile service to keep businesses moving.
How easy is it to schedule Duval Ford mobile service?
It's very easy. Just call the dealership or schedule online at duvalford.com or even use the Ford Pass app.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Good luck surviving the offseason, football fans.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Football's over, it's like a part of me just died inside. 200 days till football's back, but tonight I won't just cry, cause I've got a ways to play. And that's the place with Hard Rock Bet, I will survive.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Something new is swinging into town, and you're invited. Pine Royale Golf is celebrating its grand opening, February 27th from 11 to 3. Come tour the property, enjoy free limited play on the Trackman driving range, plus giveaways, contests, and free snacks. Dress in your best funky golf style for photos and prizes. Take a shot at the $500 hole-in-one challenge. It's golf, games, and good vibes. Search Pine Royale Callahan to learn more.
Repairing or replacing your roof is a pretty big investment, so when that time comes, you can trust my parents at Endless Summer Roofing. Visit endlesssummerroofing.com for a free quote. Endless Summer Roofing, protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
The riders who face Daytona Supercross are built different. Withstanding the most unforgiving and grueling track is not just a point of pride, but of pure grit and determination. This battle can only be felt in person. Witness the action unfold at the only place in Florida where the biggest names will battle it out under the lights. Daytona Supercross is built different. It's built for champions. It's built for fans. The gate drops Saturday, February 28th. There's only one place to be. Secure your tickets and trackside access at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street-legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Mark Lamping, the president of the Jags, has been holding court down at the Miller Electric Center this morning. Hayes Carline, our 1010XL embedded Jaguars reporter, will join us coming up in about 40 minutes to discuss what Mark Lamping had to say and other pertinent Jaguar issues. Tony, just following along a little bit on Jaguar Twitter here from some of our favorite media members, which, by the way, speaking of our favorite media members, John Shipley will join us in studio next Wednesday for the whole show, week from today. The next day, Demetrius Harvey will return the favor. Yeah, so looking forward to having both of those guys get in here and have a little time to give us their thoughts on all the different issues facing the Jags. But here are a few of the things just following Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times Union's Twitter feed this morning. You can find him at Demetrius82. Official capacity for the stadium this year, 42,507. That'll include 1,260 standing room only tickets. I would hope that there is a clamoring for every last ticket for a team coming off a 13-win season. I get it. And now you have less opportunities to go because you're losing another home game. So you're going to have 6 regular season home games this year in Jacksonville. You know, they're going to try to sell you on, we have 8 home games. 2 of them are in the preseason. Okay. I mean, you're going to get charged for them as a season ticket holder, but nobody I know counts those anywhere close to the same except for the Jags.
Yeah, to give you an idea, like comparing it to other NFL stadiums, right? Like the 42,000 capacity Soldier Field, which is really small, right, is 61.5.
Okay.
Right, like that's a really...
Jags usually outdraw the Bears.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
in
their
part,
capacity
they're
is just
capped,
bigger.
Right, they're capped.
Right, but they have a 61,000 capacity in the whole stadium. The Jags are basically 20,000 less than that all season long.
Right.
You know,
and how big is Chicago, too? You think of it's
Absolutely.
easy it should be easy at least to fill Soldier Field or whatever they'll call it when they move to Indiana. Maybe. So anyway, of the 27,000 plus seats that will be removed this year, because capacity with standing room is like high 60s for the Jags. Most of those, 22,000 of those are coming out of the upper deck. So there will be no upper deck this year, but there'll also be a somewhat reduced capacity at the 200 level, it sounds like, as well. Season ticket renewals info will be shared in the coming days. Any season ticket holder whose seats are impacted is going to get contacted individually, and folks getting knocked out of the upper deck are reportedly going to get first chance to relocate to the lower deck with some pricing incentives as well from what they're used to having. The Jags, according to Mark Lamping, again, this is through the reporting of Demetrius Harvey, have completed about 15% of the Stadium of the Future project, which puts them, as he put it, on schedule, Tony, 550 full-time workers there every day, and that is going to increase in the coming days.
Yeah, I saw the business office for the Jags just opened up at their new spot across from Lot J, right? So there's a lot of this stuff that it's ongoing. Obviously, as they're trying to remake everything with the stadium down there. And look, we had the conversations over and over and over about what is the preference of fans, about how this is going to look. And the Jags, to their credit, listened to, like they said, 2 years we're going to be out of the building. Right? Like that's what they said. That's going to have to be the plan. The fans were like, no. Give us the Jaguars. In whatever capacity we can have, we want them here. This is our team. And they came up with this plan where last year they're doing a little bit of construction. This year it's half capacity. And so it'll only be 1 year where they're actually not here.
Correct.
You know, while they're doing all this work. So next year you got to deal with what that's going to be. And what it's going to be is a very small capacity crowd. Like, I still think they can be plenty loud, even with it only being 40,000, especially since everyone's going to be in the bottom half of the stadium to make all the noise. So it'll still be loud in the stadium for home games next year, but it is a bummer.
It'll be different.
Right, that it's happening when now it looks like the team has a chance to be really, really good.
What are you going to do, though? You can't wait and figure that out.
And we know the schedule for the Jaguars that they had last year was going to be, they're going to have to make all these West Coast trips over and over and over. They're going to have to travel. Right? Well, this year, they're going to have to travel a lot, but it's because they're playing 2 home games in London. And then the rest of the games that they already have on the road. They're going to be not in Jacksonville for 11 of their 17 regular season games. That is a different kind of test for this football team just getting ready for the 2026 NFL season. We'll see how they dealt with it, obviously, very well last year, and a lot of that's because the team turned out to be really good in 2025. Do they have the same kind of energy to do all those kind of things this season. We'll find out.
Well, you knew they were going to play one game in London at a minimum this
No
year.
doubt.
So I guess my question would be, would you rather have 7 in Orlando or 6 in Jacksonville?
Right.
I would personally rather have 6 in Jacksonville, I would think, because you lose one Sunday, but you miss the inconvenience of having to go an additional couple of hours to, each way. How much time does that add to your Sunday commute? For some people, they wouldn't care. I get it. Everyone's going to have different opinions on this. You're welcome to share yours. One point here, this is one comment from Mark Lamping before we go to break here, was asked this morning, is there any consideration of trying to get out of the required London game beyond the 27th season? In other words, you've got this new stadium in the future that's going to be generating more revenue for you. At least that's what we're told. Do we need to continue to play that annual game in London? Have you thought about that? Here's what Mark Lamping said.
We don't have to get out of anything. In fact, our London commitment has been something that's been rolling. It's been renewed year after year. And, there's a lot changing on the international front with the league. There's a lot that's going to be changing here locally. And I think you can expect us to take a close look at, what our London strategy is moving forward. Not to suggest that, we're going to stop playing a game in London, but it is something that we will look very, very, very closely at.
All right, very non-committal. Which I get it in his position. Don't nail me to one spot
right way
here.
To answer that question
in February of 2026. Let's discuss that more at length when we return. What you heard from Mark Lamping, what you're hearing about the Jags playing that extra game in London, is this a massive disappointment? Is this something you expected? Is this going to turn you off to try to purchase season tickets this year? Look, 25,000 of you are not going to be able to get in anyway that would have otherwise had room for. So we'll see what your reaction is to that. If you want to get in on the Key Buick GMC phone lines and let us know at 641-1010. You are welcome to. This is Jaguars Today. Hayes Carline next hour on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL.
Sevens are wild for the red-hot 7th-ranked Gators as they ride their 7-game win streak into Austin, Florida, Texas. Tonight at 7 on 1010 AM.
Jacksonville, you voted, and Baker Glass came out on top. The Bold City Best Awards are all about locals choosing their favorites, and you picked them for Best Auto Glass and Best Glass and Mirror Service.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Fall in love with a new Chevy at Nimnick Chevrolet. Frank Frangie here. Right now, save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 1.9%. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck or SUV at Nimnick. Shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership at the corner of Park and Cassett. So who's got more new vehicles at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Fred Taylor. If you've been in an auto accident, you need a team who knows how to get you back on your feet and back to your life. At North Florida Medical Center, they don't just treat the injury, they treat the whole person, from physical therapy to pain management. North Florida Medical Center has a team of experts ready to help you heal and recover. I trust the team here at North Florida Medical Center, and you can too. So don't wait. Call North Florida Medical Center and get the care you deserve.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to floridahomeac.com/careers to find out more.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag. Whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is. But what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here from the Blue Crab Crab House. February means the Mardi Gras menu returns to the Blue Crab Crab House. Gumbo, shrimp Orleans, blackened redfish, appetizers, dessert, and more. This includes, of course, their regular menu where you get crabs from the Alaskan waters, the Canadian waters, the Southern Georgia waters. It's only at the Blue Crab Crab House. Doors open at 4:30, San Jose, and, of course, Julington Creek Road.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, we have all seen Forevermark diamond ads on television. Tell us about them.
Frank, Forevermark diamonds are a group of diamonds that have been separated from diamond productions in South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, and Canada because they're beautiful, rare, and responsibly sourced. Also, because the sale of these diamonds benefits the communities they come from, they're selected to carry the Forevermark icon. At Underwoods, we've sold South African and Namibian diamonds before, but Forevermark's different because these diamonds are traced and individually cared for from the mine all the way to her finger. And less than 1% of all diamonds qualify to be Forevermark. These diamonds also only sell through an authorized network of diamond cutters and retail stores that are carefully selected just like the diamonds. Underwoods is proud to be a part of that network, and we were one of the first 5 in the United States to join.
Underwoods, where customers are served with quality and respect. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, here we go as we get ready to wrap up the first hour. Hayes Carline, a little under 30 minutes away, attending the Mark Lamping press conference, which has been going on since 10 o'clock today. And here's a question for you, Tony. As we've mentioned now a few times, Jags had in their agreement with the city because of the construction going on. You know, look, there's no one simple solution. The best solution would be we could do it all in one off season and it doesn't interrupt anything. But that's not possible. So they've gone down the road they've gone down. And they can play in that 3-year window, including last year, 6 home games in London. They're opting to play 2 this year. They played 1 last year. Anybody who doesn't think they're going to play 3 next year in London, I mean, is not paying attention. They're going to make more on those games than they would playing in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And here's my question. What, for the first time ever, are the Jags going to make 2 trips to London next year? Like, it's easy to play. All right, you're playing consecutive games. All right, so you're on the road, but Shad Khan puts you up in some really nice digs over there. You're not exactly slumming it, right? You're not checking into the Motel 6 at 3 a.m. Everything's going to be fine, right? So you're there for a couple of weeks. You get used to the pattern, and then you come back home, and then maybe you have your bye week or whatever the case. You got 3 games, though. You going to play 3 consecutive home games across the pond? You're gonna
highly doubtful.
I wouldn't think, right? And so,
and my guess would be from the overarching league standpoint, not that there's ever necessarily going to be a team in London,
but they want a guinea pig.
But they don't mind the experiment of what's it like to play once or twice there, come back home, and then go back
again.
Right? Like, what is that? Like, what's the process of that from an NFL team perspective? And no one else is going to have that opportunity. No. Except the Jaguars next year doing the Orlando thing.
Well, I mean, are you going to otherwise? Do you really think that like all these media outlets are just going to say, "Hey, go over to London for 3 weeks and follow this team"? You know what? Like, I mean, there's plenty of NFL international media, and you're going to get coverage of your team, right? But is that what's going to happen? Are they going to fly in? Are they going to say 3 full weeks? Or are they going to take 2 separate trips? And I mean, seriously, and you know. I don't know. It's something that the Jags right now have to deal with that other teams don't have to deal with. But, you know, it's like, and I don't remember what the logistics were like, how difficult it was. But Green Bay played a couple of seasons in Milwaukee, right? And now maybe that's not exactly the same, but it'd be like playing in Orlando. I don't see a whole lot of difference. You've got to travel outside your normal routine to do that. I don't recall if that put any extra burden on them, but they didn't have the added complication of the international schedule, and everyone's trying to play all over the world. I mean, we're thinking about this year. The Jags have to go to London twice next year. All right, they haven't said that. Just thinking ahead. Well, San Fran's going to Mexico City and Australia this year. They're like, hold my beer, man. I mean, honestly, I mean, what's easier? I would imagine going to London twice is easier than that particular schedule
I would think so.
The Australia game, it just by itself seems like, and if it weren't the first week of the season, I don't think you'd be trying to pull that off, but it is. So that's what they're going to do. But I don't know. I think that's something you got to consider next year, that the Jags may be making multiple trips overseas. And will that, I mean, all it takes is, you know how it is. They won the division by one game. They won 13 games, right? And all it takes is one slip up somewhere along the way. They're going to get tested, as you said, going on the road 11 times this year now. And that is, there's an advantage to playing at home. If you don't think there is, sleeping in your own bed, not having to get on a plane, having your home fans cheer for you, the comfort of routine over and over and over again. Yeah, you can go on the road and win football games in the National Football League, but the home field is not worth nothing.
Yeah. And by the way, if they were to play those 3 home games in London next year, then they would have 11 games where they're not the home team, and the 6 that would be home would be in Orlando, right? Like, it's not even really home.
Right. Well, it's going to be that kind of year regardless.
Right. The schedule, looking at it next year, is just, who knows what exactly that's going to look like.
But,
and hopefully they're still on an upward trajectory when all this is going on.
Right. I mean, look, can they navigate this the next couple of years and make the postseason? Maybe win a division, win a wild card, whatever, but get in the postseason and
if
put themselves
team,
consistently 3 years in a row as a playoff team. And then you're coming back in 28 to the brand new facility and all that. And what Mark Lamping just was asked about, what about possibly adjusting it? And when he said, we don't have to get out of it, it's something that they've been having to get into basically every year. So it's not like they'd have to break a long commitment or anything like that. If they didn't want to play there, they wouldn't have to play there in London. Now, I think they're going to want to see what kind of revenue this new stadium actually does generate. You can have all your projections in the world. You know what you're making when you go over there to London. And where will they be on what kind of financial footing by 2028? Having taken a couple of maybe years where things don't go as smoothly because of reduced capacity or you're moving all around. Who knows? I don't know the answer to these questions, but there's a lot going on. And in fact, along those lines, Mark Lamping asked this morning, how much will reduced capacity hurt local revenue given the season that the team had last year?
Well, it is going to impact it. You can't lose a third of your inventory and expect to generate the same ticket revenue. We're going to try, that's for sure. I would expect that we would have a big change in this supply-demand dynamic. I think it'll be a pretty electric experience for our fans. It will be a smaller capacity, but it should be packed each and every game. And hopefully, given that we give priority to Jaguar fans first, we have a strong schedule next year with teams that bring a lot of fans with them. Hopefully, our fans will take up most of those tickets before visiting fans have a chance to purchase them. But the other part of this is, we've known this all along. This was one of the trade-offs that we knew we had to make. One aspect of this that's been incredibly uplifting to us is how supportive our partners and sponsors have been to work with us, through this situation. For example, maybe taking other benefits and keeping their investment the same, but then adding other benefits to offset for the lack of capacity.
Well, offset with other benefits, meaning other revenue streams, meaning look, I'm not the smartest guy. I was not an economics major, Tony. What happens when demand rises and supply shrinks? Prices go up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's simple. I mean, everybody understands that. We only got a few of these left. We got 100 people that want these things, whatever they are. I can ask more now because the demand is there. And so they're not, I didn't hear that, and I don't know if that was addressed this morning. We haven't heard everything yet, but I got to imagine there's got to be some of that. How do you offset that? Maybe you offer some premium packages. Maybe you do some different kind of things, but the average price of a ticket, I would think, would have to rise.
I don't know how it does.
Not necessarily to completely make up that gap. It's not, but it is a factor if there's going to be the demand that it's going to be hard. Like in the past, you always, I can wait till game day maybe and get a pair of tickets to a Jags game. May not be the case when capacity is what it's expected to be next year. Anyway, more on this with Mark Lamping, president of the Jaguars, speaking this morning. We'll play a few more of his thoughts going forward. Today, we'll hear what Hayes Carline has to say in about 20 minutes. He was there in attendance, and get Hayes' thoughts on that and what the Jags will be looking for at the scouting combine, even though Gladstone and Cohen will not be in attendance at the combine. You can still monitor from afar, and their scouts will still be there as well. We'll come back. Tony will take us around the rest of the NFL on a busy morning here on Jaguars Today. 1 hour in, 1 to go on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
I know what you're trying to do.
1010XL.
I'm trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Free your mind.
Tusk, the classic tribute to Fleetwood Mac. Friday, March 6th at Florida Theater. Playing the hits and deep cuts of rock and roll Hall of Famers Fleetwood Mac. An unforgettable show with the iconic music you love. On sale now at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Tusk. Recreating the Fleetwood Mac experience like no other.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday.
On Jaguars Today.
Jacksonville, Lacey here from Fourscore. It's game time. The TPC is taking over the town, and we're bringing the heat. Closest to the pin simulator battles, drink specials, huge screens, great food, and a full bar. Hosting clients or entertaining your team, let Fourscore handle your TPC party. Private bays, full-service catering, and then straight into March Madness. We'll have bracket contests, buzzer beaters, cold beer, and the ultimate watch party vibe. San Marco or Gate Parkway, Fourscore is your headquarters. Visit fourscoregolf.com today.
Discuss the beautiful game. The Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Get an hour of soccer talk Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
2-day flash sale right now from Zero Res. 25% off tile and grout cleaning. Mopping can't reach dirt in trapped grout lines, so restore to a brighter, cleaner look. Lift embedded dirt and buildup from kitchens and bathrooms. Book now before the offer disappears. Call 287-5727. Flash sale ends this Wednesday for 25% off tile and grout cleaning from Zero Res. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forward, it's the right way to clean.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
At the First Coast YMCA, there's no place like this place, with programs and experiences that will bring your whole family together. Summer will be here before we know it, and Y Summer Day Camp registration is now open. Visit your local Y to secure your child's spot early for a season full of memories and adventure. Don't delay. Day camps will fill up. There's no place like this place, so visit your local Y to sign up or online at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
High Flying Jacko here. When I need to send a floral arrangement, there's only one thought: Kuhn Flowers. A simple phone call or an online order, it's always easy with Kuhn. There's a reason Kuhn Flowers has been doing it for over 75 years. Online at kuhnflowers.com.
Jacksonville, it's official. Men's professional soccer is back with the USL Championship. Your Sporting Jacks Pro Soccer Club kicks off its historic first men's season on March 7th, bringing fast, physical, world-class soccer back to the First Coast. This is more than a new pro sports team. It's world-class soccer played on a national and international stage. Be there from the very beginning. Season tickets with seats starting at just $10 per match. On sale now at sportingjacks.com. Sporting Jacks. Pro soccer, pro Jacks.
If your home doesn't have a fireplace, CSS can install a beautiful electric or gas fireplace from Heat & Glow with no major remodel required. See their showroom or cssoutdoor.com for a free estimate. CSS, you dream it, we build it.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by Zero Ez. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. The league announced today that the Jaguars will play 2 home games in London in 2026. Jags will have 6 home games in Jacksonville this season as the stadium is at limited capacity, which is set at 42,507. It's 59 degrees at 11:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, Hayes Carline, less than 15 minutes away, will give us his firsthand reaction to what Mark Lamping, president of the Jaguars, had to say to the assembled media this morning down at the Miller Electric Center as the Jags and the NFL announced today that the team will be playing 2 home games in London this year. And again, their deal with the city and the lease agreement and the remodeling, let's call it, what's going on down there, allows them to play 6 in a 3-year period beginning last year. So this will be 3 of those 6. So you do the math on what's likely to happen next year as the Jags will be uprooted from the stadium of the future for an entire season. This year, just reduced capacity down to 42,000, and that's where we're at right now. And again, I mean, it's easy for me to say. I'm not saying anyone listening to my voice has to feel the way I feel about it, but the way I look at it, like, again, I look at it like would you rather have 7 in Orlando, because they were originally going to play 2 years away from Jacksonville? Would you rather have 7 in Orlando this year or 6 in Orlando, or 6 in Jacksonville and an extra 1 in London? And I'd rather honestly have the latter, but I'm not the one who has to make those decisions. I'm not the one. I don't have to buy tickets. I get it, right? We're spoiled rotten. Tony and I are going to be working in the Miller Electric Center, I imagine, regardless of whether they're playing in Jacksonville, in London, in Orlando, or Gainesville, or the Daytona International Speedway, or you get the idea. It doesn't impact us on game day at all.
There's no way for the game to get on air.
Right. We broadcast through the Miller Electric Center, and that's where we do pre and halftime and post game shows from there, and that's just part of it, you know. And that's not going to change for us. So it's not a matter of my convenience one way or the other. It's the fans who are planning on making these trips into the stadium every Sunday.
Yeah, and I think we're both on the same page with the idea of the day, if it were to come where they say we're not doing the London thing anymore, I think you and I would be like, yay. You know, good for all involved. They feel good about what's happening with everything that's happening in Jacksonville from a revenue standpoint, and the fans are going to celebrate not losing a home game to London, you know, going forward, except that once every 4 years when the league mandates that they will, right? Like that kind of thing, that if that day were to come, we will celebrate that having happened. But we're not going to be able to convince the fans that are going to be upset anytime they lose a game to London. And if they're going to lose 2, as they are next year, home games to London, the fans that are going to be upset about it, there's nothing that we're going to be able to say that's going to placate that. And I
Nor am I
understand
trying
that,
to, for that
and
matter, right? I'm
be
not telling
mad.
you to think a certain way.
Right, like be mad. I can understand why you'd be mad. If I was a season ticket holder, I would understand the anger a little bit about losing another game.
I do, but I also, if you are realistic and you look at the position that the team is in, and I'm not trying to be some mouthpiece for the team. I feel like we try to be objective and fair. We critique when it's there. We praise when it's there. We root for the team. And if that bothers people, then I don't know what kind of show you think you're listening to, right? Where this is not, breaking news. We're not Scoop Smith and Dempsey over here. That's why we have reporters on that do that kind of work for us. But I don't know what else they're supposed to do here. They are going to be losing revenue. They are pouring a lot. They've got this deal. Look, Shad Khan came along, and the way I look at it, you've had some ups and downs. There's no question that they haven't won enough. There are a lot of things to critique. But Wayne Weaver found a guy that was going to keep this team here. And he stuck to his word, and he has done that. And that to me supersedes all this stuff. Yeah, it's going to be awkward. There are going to be bumps in the road to get there. And do I think that they're going to say, hey, 2028, new stadium, we're not playing in London anymore? No.
Right.
I think if that happens, it's going to be after several years of seeing what this revenue, this stadium actually generates. But is it at least a possibility? Let's hope so. But at the very least, your core, your base is locked in here for the next 3 decades.
In 2020, when the plan got announced that they were going to play 2 home games in London and the Stadium of the Future was not
on the table.
Like that, like we all felt the nervous energy.
Yes.
Of, that kind of thing being announced.
The slippery slope.
Right. Like now it gets announced and it's like, well, they're going to be in Orlando next year, so if they play 3 home games in London, okay.
Again, for us, we feel that. I'm not saying you have to feel that way. Maybe you were planning on making every trip to Orlando possible.
But it's more, the big picture is no longer it being a threat to you losing the franchise that you love.
Correct.
Right? And I think that should be kind of the background for any of these conversations. And again, you can feel that energy however you want to feel it, but, I'm watching the fans react to it on X as we're going through the show this morning. And I think most of them are on that kind of thing. They're not saying they're happy about losing 2 home games, but they're saying, I don't have to be nervous about it meaning anything beyond they're losing 2 home games next year. Right? Like that's where it ends, is, well, they're going to play 2 next year. That's a bummer. I don't get to watch them for that extra game. I hate it. Okay. They express the frustration with it, but they know it's no threat to them losing the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're here to stay.
At least they should know that at this point in time. All right, let's take a quick look around the rest of the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Houston general manager Nick Caserio said yesterday that running back Joe Mixon has had some surgery done this offseason and that his status with the club is considered day-to-day as they continue to gather information. Caserio also said that any rumors about quarterback C.J. Stroud being traded this offseason are moronic and that Stroud isn't going anywhere. New York Jets general manager Darren Moogie said on Tuesday that the Jets will use their franchise tag on running back Breece Hall if they're unable to get a long-term deal done. Atlanta GM Ian Cunningham said that the Falcons will be releasing quarterback Kirk Cousins on March 11th. Cleveland GM Andrew Berry said at the Combine that the Browns have not made any decision about who will start at quarterback for the Browns in 2026 as of yet. Buffalo restructured the deal of right tackle Spencer Brown. He was set to have a cap figure of $19 million going into the 2026 season. The restructure will save the Bills just over 10 of that $19 million. And Detroit offensive tackle Taylor Decker announced on social media that he will be returning for an 11th NFL season. And Detroit was announced as one of the teams that will be playing in Munich in 2026.
All right, more from Mark Lamping as the hour plays out. Jaguars president. But coming up next, we've got Hayes Carlyon, intrepid and embedded Jaguar reporter for 1010 XL, was on the scene at the presser this morning. Hayes going to tell us all about it and what he heard and what that means for the Jags and their fans moving forward. That's coming up next here on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010 XL. 1010 XL takes you behind the microphone.
You mad? Yeah, mad! Good and mad! Yeah!
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
What do you want to do about it? Feels good, doesn't it?
The Drill.
Yeah!
Mornings on 1010 XL.
Now it's time I got some respect.
Hey, Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street-legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
Awaken 180 weight loss.
Jaguars today, Wednesday.
Some auto shops call it an inspection and flag any little thing. That's called a wallet flush. At AA Automotive, they don't play that game. They fix only what needs fixing. AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush.
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
He's our big hitter.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus.
He tackles Jags talk from a middle linebacker's point of view. Fridays on 1010XL. Protected by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bro, have you heard about the hottest and newest sports league in town?
Vanguard Sports League isn't just VIP, it's the standard. Smoke-filled tunnel intros, cool benches with canopies, big scoreboards, championship rings, and convenient locations all across Jacksonville. Oh, and mascot potties there hyping everyone up every game. No wonder it's the talk of the town. Spring and summer registration now open.
Search VanguardSportsLeague.com today.
Pickett here. Restore comfort and confidence with oculoplastic specialist Mary Kate Wilson, MD, at the Eye Associates, Jacksonville's expert in oculofacial plastic and reconstructive care. Dr. Wilson specializes in eyelid surgery, cosmetic and reconstructive procedures, and treatments, always with a personalized approach. Now seeing patients at the Beaches, Southside, and St. John's locations. To schedule your consultation with Dr. Wilson, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 25th, 1940, the first televised hockey game in the United States aired on W2XBS in New York, featuring the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are two important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The two-stage coating application? Sure. But nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous, gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate! Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate. Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminex. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast, before they have time to multiply. Terminex knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminex. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminex does. Visit Terminex.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Tara Lagaman here for Local Fair Jacks. Fresh, local produce, eggs, and meat delivered right to your door. It's where Jeff and I shop because we know exactly where our food is coming from. There's no scary recalls, just trusted local farmers. Visit localfairjacks.com.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
You can't touch this.
Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, time for a little hammer time with Hayes the Hammer Carline, Jaguars embedded reporter for 1010XL, was at the Mark Lamping press conference, president of the Jags, speaking about the schedule featuring a second London home game this year and other features. Hayes, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you all?
We're doing all right. I don't think anybody should be shocked. We knew the possibility the Jags can play up to 6 home games over a 3-year period with the stadium construction going on. Still, when it becomes official, people are going to react to it. Hey, so what is your reaction to the Jags announcing that only 6 of their 17 games will actually be played in Everbank this year?
Well, I've always viewed 26 games in Jacksonville as a bonus because this project really should have displaced them for 2 years. And, when the Jaguars sent out the survey and working with city leaders, they wanted it. Is there any way we can only be displaced for the 27 season? And so, this is the cost of at least having some football in Jacksonville in 26. But it was really interesting hearing Mark go through it because he refers to it as a donut schedule. They need a break in the middle of the year to have some wiggle room in case the project does get behind. And the project right now is 15% completed, and they are on schedule. But it was interesting that they need to have a window. So by playing the back-to-back London games, they know they'll at least have a 2-week window. They're going to request the bye to be after the second London game. So if the league grants them that, and they probably will, then based on history, then that's a 3-week window for construction. And Mark added that they've also requested for the league to put them on the road, either the game before the London game or the first game after the bye, which would then increase that to a 4-week of almost a full month of a break where they could bring the, construction back in and make sure that they're fully on schedule. And so, yeah, it was really interesting hearing them go through it. And they can, one of the things that I'm always curious about is the opponents that they might protect. Now, it's a limited capacity. So, I didn't know if they would try to say, hey, we want for instance, the Texans game. We absolutely want that to be played in Jacksonville in front of our fans. And Mark said that they can protect 2 games this year and that they'll work in conjunction with the football operation, which was probably the biggest reveal from Lamping's press conference is when he went into details about just more of a harmonious working relationship between business and football. But he said, certainly, we'll let football, lead us in that decision in terms of the 2 home games that they want to make sure are in Jacksonville.
How likely in your mind, Hayes, is it that the Jags wind up playing 3 home games in 2027 in London, given that they'll be in Orlando for the whole year?
I'd be shocked if they don't play 3 in London in 27. And again, while we think it is going to be Orlando, that will not be finalized until later in March at the owners' meeting. So at the earliest. So it probably will be Orlando, but obviously that's not 100% locked in yet. But yeah, I would think in 27, if I had to guess, I'd say it's 3 over in London and the rest in Orlando.
So if it is 3, Hayes, and Tony and I were just talking about this, that brings up the prospect of, do the Jags make multiple trips to London? Or do they bring the whole operation over there for 3 weeks, which puts a strain on, the media and the fans who want to go to these games and all these different things? Do you think that, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but this is probably coming that they're going to play these 3 games next year. Does that involve more than one trip across the Atlantic Ocean, do you think?
Yeah, I think it certainly could. The other thing, too, is it's always been, it's not an unlimited window over there in terms of when NFL football can be played either at Tottenham or Wembley. They play it during the Premier League break. So it's not like they've got the entire fall calendar where London is available to them. So I would think it will have to be probably consecutive games and one trip over there. And you bring up what I think is the most interesting thing about this, and there's no way around it. If you're going to embark on a project this glorious, that's going to ensure football in this city, at the NFL level for the next 30 years, obviously there's going to be some pain in that process. But from a competitive standpoint, it really puts them in a tough spot. I mean, they're barely going to be here in 26, and they're barely going to be here. Well, they're not going to be here at all in 27. So now you've won, 13 games in the first year with Liam Cohen, and you've got a young quarterback and certainly a nice, roster that certainly isn't aging. And, it is going to be, I think, competitively a disadvantage for what they're going to have to face this coming season and in 27 in terms of, really having either a limited home or really no home.
Did anything else Lamping had to say this morning while you were out there catch your attention as he was going through it?
It was interesting in terms of the projects that are going on the other side of the street, the Four Seasons, the marina, the office building. Mark said that the office building is fully operational. The Jaguars moved into that facility on Monday. That's the business side. So obviously football has been moved out of the stadium into the Miller Electric Center now for a couple of years. But now all the business departments in the stadium are now in the new office building, which is right next to the Four Seasons. The Four Seasons I haven't been over in this area in about 5 weeks since the season-ending wrap-up. And it is really impressive, the progress that they've made on the stadium in terms of the width of the concourses and the Four Seasons in the office space. So he said the marina and the Riverwalk will be open late summer, which will certainly be exciting. The marina is right behind the Four Seasons. And and they've already laid 75 deep foundation elements outside of the stadium that will support the roof. That's completed. So, it was interesting just getting an update on the current projects that are going on, not just with the stadium, but obviously in this downtown area as well. So, but really the biggest takeaway was Mark saying that, how incredible football has been in terms of working with business. And he then prefaced that with, I don't want to disparage anybody that worked here before, but then he went ahead and did that. He was like, but it's much more open. It's just on a whole other level. The respect and the communication has been tremendous. Football sensitivity to the business side and vice versa. So, again, just reemphasizing that, harmonious environment that they've now been able to build here with, Baselli and Gladstone and Cohen and, and working in conjunction so much better throughout the building. So, I think ultimately it's going to be up to Liam Cohen. I think they're probably going to say, hey, what 2 games in 26 would you want to play here? And I have to think the Texans game would be very high on that list. And then, maybe it's the Colts game, maybe it's the 2, you look at your 2 primary contenders you would imagine in the AFC South. I don't think Tennessee is going to be there next year. So I would think if it's going to be left up to football and it's going to be more of a competitive decision instead of because in the past it hasn't always been a competitive decision. It's been, well, what's the game that our fans really want to see here? Like, is it a marquee? Is it a legacy opponent? One of the biggest, brands in the NFL. With it being more of a football decision, if I was Liam Cohen, I'd have the Texans and Colts home games played here in Jacksonville in front of a limited but certainly packed capacity.
Yeah, a partisan crowd. I don't know. I guess if you knew exactly how it was going to stack up, if you were playing the second of back-to-backs against the Texans in London, and they've got to come in and get adjusted on a short week, and you've been there, I guess you could make the argument for that. But I'm with you. I'd want them in front of my rabid fan base as much as possible. Hayes, Jags obviously decided not to send James Gladstone and Liam Cohen to the scouting combine. Scouts are going to be there, but they don't want to be swayed by a 15-minute interview. The Rams have kind of set this precedent. What do you make of that decision? Is there anything that they're missing out on from not being in that environment this next week and a half?
Well, there's a couple elements to me about it. I certainly don't care if James Gladstone's sitting in the stands at Lucas Oil Stadium with a stopwatch while guys are running a 40. I have absolutely no problem with that. The player interviews, I think it's an interesting strategy. I understand, in the past, James has talked about, you don't want to be necessarily swayed by a 15-minute interview and be biased in your evaluation of a prospect. And you also, it's hard to unlock genuine, authentic moments because these guys are so well coached. My counter to that would be, well, ask better questions. Ask questions that maybe are a little bit more away from football. But I'd probably be more in the camp of I'd want to be in front of the players as often as possible, just because, you know how it goes. If the Jaguars happen to draft a prospect that ends up being a bad character employee for them, they're going to get crushed for it. Because the obvious question is, well, how did this happen? And how was it allowed to happen when you're not meeting with these guys? So, I still think that there is value in getting in front of the players, and you just have to tailor it to try and find out, if you're worried about canned answers, then come up with questions that lead to genuine responses. And I do think it was a mistake not to have Liam Cohen and James Gladstone do any media this week at all. This fan base is rabid about this team and certainly incredibly excited about its direction. And not that you have to give away your off-season plan, but I think it would have been nice to have Liam Cohen and James Gladstone available for 10 minutes each, Tuesday this week just in Jacksonville. Again, it's fine if you're not going to go to Indianapolis, but the fan base is used to hearing from you this week. They've always done that. So to stiff arm your fans, when they're so excited about your product, I just think is a terrible PR decision.
What is your confidence level at this point that Brian Thomas Jr. will be a number one wide receiver in the NFL?
Very low, 15%.
Okay, what about
by number one receiver? You mean like a top receiver in the NFL?
The alpha guy? Yeah.
I think very low.
All right, what about your confidence that he'll be a member of the Jaguars roster this year?
I put that at probable, so I'll say 60% that he's a Jaguar. I don't think it's a definite, but I'd say it's more likely he's here than he's not here. But I saw ESPN's Bill Barnwell write something last week that he was projecting trades, and he had Buffalo sending the Jaguars a 1 for Brian Thomas Jr.
Plus Keon Coleman, right, as a throw-in. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think Tony and I are of the opinion that if you could get a first, and you
listen.
Right. I think it'd be hard, especially, Jamal St. Cyrian with us last week made a great point. Brian Thomas played less than 50% of the snaps in the postseason game. So what is the likelihood that if that's going to continue, that his value is going to remain that high? Like, if you can get a first for him now, the chances of you getting one for him after this year, if he doesn't, if he doesn't show he's the number one guy on your roster, are going to shrink considerably, Hayes. So I don't know. It's something to think about anyway. ETN, last question for you. ETN and Lloyd, chances one, both, or none are back with this roster?
I'll say it's low on either. Obviously, there's no chance they can bring them both back. We know that. So could they bring one of the two back? I'd put that at 35%. But I think in all likelihood, they're both going to hit the market. I just think their markets are going to be robust. the Javonte Williams deal, it gave me a little bit of a glimmer of hope, and if it were me, I'd probably just let Etienne go anyway. But if you're somebody that wants Etienne to stay, I didn't think the Javonte Williams deal was overly, lucrative. So I don't know if, where Etienne camp feels like he ranks with Javonte Williams, but Javonte Williams had a really good year. And so I would say they're comparable. But with Lloyd, I just think that so many of these clubs have just ridiculous cap space. I mean, we know the Jaguars have been in that situation more years than not when we've covered them. I mean, they haven't been very good on the field, but they've got oodles of cap space. And so what do? They go overpay for guys that end up, being kind of just average players at best here. I think you're going to see the same thing unfold with Devin Lloyd. Not necessarily that he won't be good wherever he signs, but I think one of these teams that has just crazy cap space is going to say, you know what, we need him. Let's just throw a bunch of money at Devin Lloyd. So I think it's unlikely that either are back in Jacksonville.
All right. Hayes Carline, we're glad you are here in Jacksonville as part of the 1010 XL front lines out there with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Catch Hayes on the Frangie Show Monday through Friday and not infrequently here on Jaguars Today. Hayes, all the best. Thanks for your time again, bud.
Really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
All right. There he goes. At Hayes Carline is where you'll find him on X as well. CarlYON. Let's come back, Tony, and discuss what we heard, maybe a little bit more from Mark Lamping coming up as well. As the Jags announced today, officially they'll play 2 home games in London in the 2026 NFL season. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. The action. The motion.
You see that acceleration?
Feel the active emotion of live play-by-play.
It's amazing how much energy.
On 1010XL.
Discover downtown Jacksonville's newest go-to spot. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville brings you 2 floors of over 80 self-pour craft beers, wines and cocktails, plus live sports, live music, and private event space. And right next door, Pizza Dynamo fires up made-to-order pizzas, slices and calzones packed with bold flavor. Pair a pint with a fresh pie at Pizza Dynamo and Pour Tap Room, downtown at Laura and Forsyth.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins. Fighting for your rights since 1975.
Did you know your roof ages from the inside out? By the time you see a leak, damage already exists beneath the shingles. Sun exposure, humidity, and seasonal storms slowly weaken roofing materials over time. If your roof is 15 years old or more, then now is the time to start planning, not reacting. At Endless Summer Roofing, we provide professional inspections and clear guidance so you can make informed decisions. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com to schedule a free inspection. Endless Summer Roofing, protecting your home from Florida's endless summer.
Create a backyard your family will love. Jack's Outdoor Solutions, an authorized dealer of Celebrity Greens, installs PGA quality artificial turf golf greens and complete outdoor spaces. From turf to custom hardscapes, landscaping, and lighting, every project is built for style, durability, and family fun. Locally owned and trusted across Northeast Florida, customers rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
Tusk, the classic tribute to Fleetwood Mac. Friday, March 6th at Florida Theater. Playing the hits and deep cuts of rock and roll Hall of Famers Fleetwood Mac. An unforgettable show with the iconic music you love. On sale now at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Tusk. Recreating the Fleetwood Mac experience like no other.
Instant Keys is turning 25. A quarter century of saving the day when your keys mysteriously vanish.
Seriously, it was just in my pocket.
Or when that remote fob decides to quit working.
The dealership is such a hassle.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, house keys, transponders, re-keys, and even high-tech smart locks. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For honest, professional locksmith service, use Instant Keys.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Yeah, I don't know if Jag fans would consider it a golden moment to find out that 2 home games will officially be departing Everbank. And again, it was out there, right? I mean, we knew when they don't negotiate the ability to have 6 home games in a 3-year window without intending to use it, right? Well, I know they have the ability to do that. Well, they probably fought for that ability because of things like this. 42,000 people, they already make what do they call it? 1.5 to 2 times as much on a London game as they do as a Jacksonville game, right? So what do you imagine when 130-year seating capacity is taken out, how much more that difference will be? So that'll help, and again, this is, and I'm seeing some of this on social media, and it's making me happy. Even some folks I know are dyed-in-the-wool season ticket holder types that want to go to every single game that they possibly can. They the highlight of the year, honestly, are those afternoon Sundays in Jacksonville when they get together with all their tailgating buddies and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not mocking that at all, but even I'm seeing a lot of those folks say, hey, look, in the end, short-term pain, long-term gain. Team's going to be here for 3 more decades, and we know we have that locked in. And at any point, again, had this come up 5 years ago, 6 years ago, as Hayes referenced, they were going to do this, and then COVID came, and then they shut that thing down, and there would have been a lot of consternation and wondering if the slippery slope was being slid down by the Jacksonville Jaguars to making a larger commitment to playing in London. But all this is in service to getting to a point where you don't necessarily even maybe have to do it at all anymore if you've got this revenue coming in with the new stadium project.
Are you worried at all, or are you interested at all to hear what the guys who are under contract that'll be here next year, obviously, just kind of how they feel about the fact that they'll have to be going to London 2 times this year and how the travel may affect them?
No. You know who I'm worried about? The potential free agent signees. Because the guys under contract don't have any say in it. Right. So, but that's the answer to your question. Are they going to be happy about it? I would imagine none of them want it. Maybe you would want to do it once in your life, but it's got to be an inconvenience, Tony. Yeah. In the end, you're still playing football on Sunday, and getting on a plane for 6 hours or whatever the case, or however long the trip is, longer than that, is not what you would choose to do. Now, the question is, does that prospect, hey, let's say you're signing a short-term deal in Jacksonville, a 2 or 3 year contract. Well, the first year, you're going to play 6 games here. You're going to play 2 in London. You're going to go on the road 9 times. Next year, you're playing in a site to be determined, likely to be Orlando, maybe 3 games in London. How much does that impact you? You know what they're going to say? How many zeros on that contract?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say. But can I say that no one will be turned off by this? No, I can't say that. That there's a possibility you might lose a couple of guys who otherwise might have looked at it. Then again, it's getting cheaper to live in Florida than ever, man. I hear property taxes getting ready to disappear. No state income tax. There's still a lot of benefits. And, oh, by the way, the team is good.
Yeah.
The team is good, and that should matter to people.
And I wonder how much the team does to help players, if they are going to be, do the London thing for 2 weeks, right, next year, how much they help the players bring the family, right, to make that convenient. I don't know what they do in that regard, but 2 weeks away from the family is a long time.
What about 3, right? What if it's 3? What if it is you're playing 3 games over there? Right. Are you trying to set up shop for a month in London?
Right. And if you're the team that is helping the players deal with all those things and have that in mind as you're planning those things, you better believe when people ask them, like guys in the league ask them how'd the team deal with it, and they say, well, they helped me with this, this, and this. Like, that goes a long way.
Sure.
If that's
Although the NFLPA can't run a poll on it anymore.
Well, they can't let us know about it, right? Like, they can't let the public know about it, but the guys in the league talk.
Oh, sure.
Right? And if you're willing to take care of the guys when they're dealing with that, then, look, there will be some players that are like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that, and that's fine. Like, that's their prerogative, and if the zero on the paycheck isn't enough to convince them, that's their choice as well. But I don't think it would be all that much of a hindrance, right, for what the Jaguars will be doing. I think it's an uncomfortable situation, but we knew it was going to be here for a couple of years for the Jags with them trying to build a new stadium. And there was no way for it not to be. Like, there's just no way to avoid it being uncomfortable for a short period of time. Unfortunately, like, the unfortunate part of it is it looks like they could be good for these 2 years while they're dealing with it.
Well, what do you want? Would you rather have them stink? I'm not saying you. I'm just saying,
I get it.
Devil's advocate. Would you rather have them stink? At least you're look.
It's more typical.
It's pain. You're trying to squeeze through this little hole and get to the other side and have a bright new future where you've got basically a brand new stadium, quarterback still in his prime, and a coaching staff and a front office that have gone through a few growing pains and have already shown us that they're ready to hit the ground running. And Tone, look, I'm not going to be upset if they win the Super Bowl when they're playing in Orlando because I want them to win a Super Bowl.
If they figured out how to win the Super Bowl sometime in the next 2 years with all this other stuff going on, I don't know how the league's going to react to it, but we who are watching it happen, that is remarkable among remarkable championship teams. Like, if they figure it out with everything else that is going on around them, in this situation, not that it's look, we know it's very difficult to figure it out. That's why any kind of hindrances like this make it that much more difficult.
Right.
Like, you just don't put stones in front of yourself for you to trip over. And unfortunately, they're having to jump over a lot of stones while they're figuring all of these things out. There's nothing they can do to avoid it. Hopefully they come out of it strong, but it does. If Trevor Lawrence really has taken a step forward to being a player that's going to be top 5 MVP type quarterback for the next several years, then they're going to have a shot, to compete long term, even with all the chaos that could be going on around the franchise. If he's that guy, we'll see.
No doubt about it. Look, we don't like to play every game in Jacksonville in front of a capacity crowd and the Jags never lose another game again. That would be the ideal. Yeah. We're working towards it, okay? So
would it be
that's a work in progress.
Would it be a blessing in disguise? I'm not saying that necessarily the cap situation in which we have where we're not able to, bring back the team in its entire capacity, but to be in the holding pattern in which we are in terms of like the cap space, and you're going to be bringing a lot of guys back, hopefully that aren't under contract but were here last year. Would that help in terms of like these next 2 years in terms of just the continuity in which they have together and we're going here as a team. We've been doing this before. Like, instead of now, like you said, bringing in the new guys, and they're like, oh man, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's give me more talented players, right? Yep. That's the bottom line. They'll figure it out, man. It's not. Again, this is not covered wagon travel here. They're getting on a charter jet and flying overnight to London. Suck it up. I'm sure they'll be fine. I don't think it's the end of the world in terms of competitive balance. I just don't. Now, the fact that you're playing away, again, if there's not a capacity kind of crowd pulling for you, there is an impact on not playing in front of a hostile crowd or playing in front of a hostile crowd. Mm-hmm. But the travel itself, I don't think is that daunting in today's day and age. Right. These guys can't handle the physical demands of it. We'll see. We'll see what free agency brings, what this team has going for it moving forward, but at least that is out there now, and we know where things stand, at least for 2026. All right, we'll come back with some final thoughts, including some from Mark Lamping, Jaguars president, on the other side. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here, and I want to take this opportunity to tell you about a great golf tournament coming up quickly right here on the First Coast. You have the opportunity to see LPGA Tour stars of tomorrow competing at Atlantic Beach Country Club March 5th through the 7th with the Epsom Tours Atlantic Beach Classic. It's presented by Access Golf, and it's the first stop on the pathway to the top 15 ladies receiving their LPGA Tour cards at the end of the year. So get out there, watch some high-quality golf, support the ladies of tomorrow. The IQ Fiber Linkside Lounge will be your best value with an all-inclusive ticket with food, beer, wine, and spirits going for only $100. So visit AtlanticBeachClassic.com. Enter promo code IQ to get that special rate. Friday afternoon will feature a fantastic Fairways to Fashion show presented by Bosco Builders, featuring Epsom Tour players and Atlantic Beach boutique stores. Limited tickets still available. Go online to AtlanticBeachClassic.com. That's AtlanticBeachClassic.com.
Jaguars today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
It's Cancer Prevention Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you to stay ahead of prostate, bladder, and kidney health. Get a yearly checkup, ask about a screening, and make self-checks a habit. To make an appointment at one of 4 locations, visit AckermanUrology.com.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
The Purple Heart isn't just a name. It represents service, discipline, and earning trust. At Purple Heart Pools, that standard shows up most in pool renovations. If your pool is outdated or worn down, now's the time to upgrade. So when summer arrives, your pool is ready. From new finishes and tile to decking, lighting, and full transformations, every upgrade is handled with precision and attention to detail. Purple Heart Pools. Pool renovations done right.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010 XL.
All right, here we go. Final few minutes of Jaguars today on this Wednesday morning. One last thought from Jaguars team president Mark Lamping before we send you off into the afternoon with XL Primetime. I'm sure they will discuss plenty on the Jags announcing today they'll play 2 of their home games in London this year, 6 at Everbank in the regular season, 2 preseason as well. Who's making these decisions? Is it the business side that's driving this? Is it the football side? Is it a collaboration? So how important is that relationship in terms of which games the Jags are looking to protect, which games they're willing to let slide to London?
It's incredible. I mean, it's again, I'm not being critical to anyone who preceded James or Liam or Tony, but this is at a whole nother level, and there's a great level of respect for what each side of the organization does. And there's tremendous sensitivity, from a business standpoint. We know the best thing for our, to meet our objectives is to win football games. So anything we can do to support the football team, and the football team knows they have a much better chance of winning on Sunday if the place is packed. And just as an aside, We've had some great environments over the 13 seasons I've been here. I don't think anything showed what this market is capable more than our playoff game against Buffalo this year, because you saw the stands, unlike a lot of times when the Bills roll in here, it was still dominated by Jaguar fans, and they were loud, and it was great. And I think that was appreciated by the football side, and it was really appreciated by all of us on the business side. That yes, we're correct. If we put the right product on the field and we give our fans the right product for them to enjoy in the stadium, we're going to get a unparalleled experience.
Well, let's hope that they continue to put the right product on the field. That's been part of the issue. For NFL football is not all cut from the same cloth, right? I mean, obviously there are haves and have-nots. Right now, you look like, well, certainly last year you're one of the haves. You win 13 games, you're one of the haves. Even if you lost your lone playoff game, you earned a home game here. Will that be the case this year? We don't know, Tone. Yeah. I mean, the Jags are going to lose some key players likely in free agency. They don't have the cash to splash it around. You're counting on big steps forward from a lot of second-year guys that we're hopeful can do big things, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's something I've always appreciated in the opportunities I've had to interact with Mr. Lamping, right, is that he'll acknowledge in the conversation somewhere that we got to figure it out as a football team to give him a reason to come.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he always acknowledges that, and him acknowledging that he's seeing the evidence of that being true with the kind of crowds they draw when the team's competitive. Like, this is not rocket science, and you want to see the teams that struggle to fill the stadium, odds are the team is bad, right? Like, that's what's going on in that place at the time. The team's not any good, and if it is good, I imagine their home field is a real advantage. And when they're bad, it's not. That's typical of sports at pretty much any level all across the country. It's not going to be any different for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right. We thank Josh Edwards of CBS Sports and Hayes Carline of the Frangie Show for joining us today as we welcome in now XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, good morning, Joe C.
Hello.
I feel today is a little bit like the overall schedule release. Like, when you know who all the opponents are, you just don't know the order in which they're coming. I mean, when the Jags negotiated a deal with the city to play a total of potentially 6 home games in London over a 3-year period, do you think they were doing that for fun? Or
No.
Like this was out there, but still, the reality of it for some Jaguar fans, it's going to be upsetting. But for others, I think they're going to realize the circumstances are what they are, and all this is leading to a better long-term situation.
Nobody can see that big picture.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or
well,
not.
I shouldn't say nobody, but very few compared to the many that won't. Everyone wants what they want, and nobody wants to not have what they want. And so I totally get it. And what you guys said earlier is true, is that, and this is the classic, you ain't going to make everybody happy all the time. You're trying to take a little pain now for what you think will be great later. But we're talking about a playoff-worthy team. that is now hoping to be a perennial postseason performer, and you'd like to see more games in your barn or your field, but down the road, they have a chance to get that game back.
Right.
And if this team keeps going in the direction that they're going in, and like you said, math's math, you needed to move some things around. You don't know how many they're going to play in Orlando versus maybe going over there for a longer stretch in 27. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, look, we beat it into the
5
ground.
years is such a long time in the
And
NFL.
look, here's the thing. You can't wait until you decide, oh, you know what, we're going to stink for the next 3 years. Now's the time to redo the stadium, right? Because then there's not the enthusiasm. Everything's got to go into it. They had the enthusiasm. They got it across the finish line.
Yeah.
I mean, would you rather that they stink for the next 2 years just because it's going to be inconvenient to see them?
Right. Give me as much good as you can possibly get.
Like, hey, if you want to win your first Super Bowl in the next 2 years, I'm not going to put an asterisk next to it.
No.
I'm going to take that.
But Big Surf will lay one on us a little bit later on as far as visually looking ahead and seeing what might happen.
That may be a different story. Have a good show.
All right,
I'm sure you'll be plenty into this today. A lot for XL Primetime to dig into. Joe C. and the crew will have it for you for the next couple hours. Again, thanks to Josh Edwards of CBS talking some Combine. Hayes Carline does a great job for 1010XL with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we'll get to more of your reaction if you want to weigh in tomorrow on what you got a chance to listen to from Mark Lamping today, president of the Jags, and we'll have more of that audio coming your way tomorrow as well. That'll do it for us today. For Tony Smith and for RJ Saunders, hey, thanks to Duval Ford, gave me that oil change while I was on the air today. Wasn't that a nice
cool service?
That is a really cool service. I had a bunch of listeners today getting their oil change out in the 1010XL parking lot, courtesy of Duval Ford with their mobile service. So that was pretty cool. All right, that'll do it for us. XL Primetime is next. Jaguars Today returns tomorrow from 10 to noon on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.